Welcome to the Redevelopment Commission meeting. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could we do the roll call?
Commissioner Bonta,
Here.
Commissioner Ambler,
Here.
Commissioner Joswiak,
Here.
Commissioner Lack,
Here.
Commissioner Munt is absent, Commissioner Vasquez. Here.
I think the minutes, the claims, staff reports, and old business is being deferred to our regular November 20th meeting because it says so on the agenda. So that gets us to new business. Mr. Dan Bowditch for discussion and residential housing development programs and the public hearings for, and then as listed, each of those programs.
So this evening, I did want to go through each one of these individually. This evening is a special meeting of the Redevelopment Commission for the purpose of holding public hearings on each one of the residential housing development programs. The purpose of the special meeting is so that, because there were 5 of them, to do this during a regular meeting would be cumbersome, and to keep it unique for individuals interested in providing comment, input, remonstrance, or support, to do them all in one meeting, the commission decided and determined that it would be easier to have a special meeting. So this evening under 8.1, the public hearings for this evening have been published in the paper in a timely manner 10 days prior to the public hearing or more than 10 days. Notice was provided to the overlapping taxing units by certified mail return receipt. The planning entities of the cities were notified of the meeting this evening if there was any planning entity that had any issues or concerns. And so at this point, Mayor, I would ask that you open the public hearings individually on the following: Sandy Trails, Providence, at Farmington, Bauer Farms, Swanson Trails, and River Trace, as it applies to the residential housing development programs for public input.
Thank you. So with that as advice, I will open the public hearing for the residential housing development program for Sandy Trails. What I'll do is I'll ask 3 times. Is there anyone here to speak on Sandy Trails? Come on up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for taking your time today to serve via this special meeting to discuss the future of this great city that we live in, Portage, Indiana. As I said in a previous meeting, always remember, tomorrow's Portage is what you do today. So with that, my first set of comments, I was watching the city council meeting this week on YouTube. I was one of the 75 live viewers, and it was riveting. And there was discussion around city finance, and there was a gentleman who, in the words of our police chief, he was upset, to use his words. And what I appreciated is that this is a forum that is here for all citizens to express themselves, whether they agree, whether they disagree. I think that's one of the things that our mayor does well. Our mayor is such a conversationalist and a communicator. Our mayor doesn't get uncomfortable based on any communication style. And that results in just a lot of professionalism. But I was excited to see, I want to commend that gentleman. I don't know him. I want to commend him for coming to this great city, this great public meeting, and this great facility to give his valuable insight in the manner that he chooses, the manner that he chose to the leaders in the city council. And one of the things that he said to our mayor, he was inquiring about saving money in a fund that could accrue interest that the city could use for, something of that sort. And he said something very specific. He said, Mayor, is this being done? Is this being worked on? And if not, why not? That was my expression of his articulation. And I asked that because it was a riveting meeting. I love public meetings, just like a good movie, like a good TV show. There's drama, there's different sides, there's communication. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. I love public meetings, and I encourage more Americans to come. This is Portage, Indiana is a great place to attend a public meeting. But as we talk about Sandy Trails, and I reflect on that meeting where it was riveting to learn that our amazing police department, is operating with limited means. There's not an excess of funding, and they were talking about the police cars to the point that our police chief sat right there in that seat where this sharp gentleman in a white shirt is sitting. He sat right there, and he said, if a car breaks down over the next 2 weeks, or whatever the number of weeks because of funding, and we wouldn't be able to fix it. We'd be short a car in our great community. And to me, I'll say, Portage seems like a crime-free, just beautiful place. You all may have some inside information that I don't have, but that's just that's my perspective. I can only share my perspective. I'm like, having great law enforcement is a part of that. Our law enforcement would patrol and drive around the new development that we're discussing in Sandy Trails. And we need our law enforcement to continue to do what they're doing because it seems like everything is going great. So what I was thinking was, I think about a vehicle company like Napa. We see Napa car care places all over. I'm just choosing Napa because I see them in every city. So I'm like, this is a national brand. And I want to take the statement that the gentleman said, and I want to give that statement to the mayor. Mayor, are we pursuing corporate sponsorships with a company like Napa who could sponsor the city of Portage? What a privilege, whoever the Napa leadership is, if this gets to you, what a privilege to put your name next to the great city of Portage, Indiana, one of the few cities that has great premier Lake Michigan lakefront, a city that has great leadership. Anyone looking to build in this city, such as a Target, gets the chance to work with the great Mr. Cherry, one of the great liaisons and one of the great individuals that is helpful to achieve the goals of developing. But Mayor, I'm going to ask you, are we working on corporate sponsorships with the Napa who could maybe say, hey, over the next 10 years, we're going to give Portage $20 million via this equipment or via this, free vehicle repair? Are we working on having the city of Portage get a sponsorship? What a privilege to support our law enforcement, to support police vehicles, because we want those police vehicles to be able to patrol Sandy Trails. We want those vehicles to be available to drive and sit on the side of the road. There was discussion about taking vehicles home. I think perks are okay. Everyone has a perspective. I think officers should be able to drive their vehicles home. That's a perk. And, my personal thing is that just because we're in tight times doesn't mean we can't take care of our people during those tight times, especially the people that take care of us, which is our officers. So speaking of Sandy Trails in general, I support development. I support making the great city of Portage. We don't want it to be tomorrow what it is today. We want it to be evolved and even better. So developments that, will expand our community, I'm for that. And I'm for our police officers not having to worry about who's going to go over to Sandy Trails today because a car's down. Or maybe we'll make a decision, I guess, Sandy Trails is safe over there. We'll just cut that patrol because we got to make a cut. So with Sandy Trails as it is today and as it will be tomorrow, based on, in part, what you do right here, Mayor, are we seeking sponsorships for companies to come into the city of Portage and sponsor us? And if not, why not? However that gentleman said it. Thank you for hearing my comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let me see, is there anyone else here to speak on Sandy Trails? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing for Sandy Trails. And what I'll say, I have to wait until after the public hearing is closed to, give a response. Unfortunately, we can't really have a full conversation here, but To put it simply, what's being discussed and what's being voted on tonight is the creation of a fund, not a fund exactly like what was described at the last council meeting. Although, again, I think that in the future, as we look at ways that we can save up and build, revenue in the city that can be used for flexible expenses, I think the Redevelopment Commission is one of those key spots with the opportunity to create revenue. What this does, the Sandy Trails Residential Housing Development Program, along with Providence at Farmington, Bower Farms, Swanson Trails, River Trace, what it does is it creates new allocation areas, an allocation area to cover each of these neighborhoods. One of the challenges when you have a neighborhood in a city is that it adds expense for police and fire, because as you say, it's more areas that need to be patrolled. So when you have an allocation area, a residential allocation area, like what we're voting on tonight, it can have two purposes. The revenue generated through tax increment in those allocation areas, once they're created, by law, they can be used for either infrastructure projects within that neighborhood or within that development, or the revenue generated by increment can be revenue that you use for police and for fire, such as buying equipment, cars, parts of cars, and also being able to use it for things like overtime, especially if it's unplanned. I say that, though, because what this is about is us creating that area so that we can then work on arrangements with the developers, either to get money, kind of like a sponsorship through the form of a TURF, not a sponsorship like what you're describing with Napa or another company. That's an interesting idea, and such ideas have been explored in different areas of the city government before, and they are being talked about right now. Not so much exactly what you described, but the idea of being able to use sponsorships and partnerships with, for-profit entities. We also are exploring things called public-private partnerships, which I can go into maybe more detail later, maybe at a Mayor's Monday, if that's okay. What this does is it allows us to create a residential allocation area that we can work with the developer for them to do payments directly to the city that we can use for public safety. And once the neighborhoods are fully built out, then we start generating the tax increment revenue that for hopefully about 15 years, if it takes 5 years for a neighborhood to build out, we can put that all towards the public safety operations in our city. And so that's why I support this, and it also it helps handle some of the issue as you grow, how do you make sure that you're not spending more money as you grow, but actually making enough revenue? This is a big way of making sure that neighborhoods help contribute to the new neighborhoods, contribute to bringing in more revenue for public safety in our city. So thank you. Any other questions or statements, or I'll move on to the public hearing for Providence. Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing for Providence at Farmington. I don't ever want to ask you to go a little shorter, but in the event that you had kind of a different speech, you know what I mean? Like, we heard you definitely for sure,
Absolutely. Because we're in a great facility with great audio, I can hear myself as well. People at home can hear us. That's what happens when you have, great facilities and great leadership to make sure those facilities are accessible and working properly. So I'm excited. For myself, I'm excited to have competent leadership. It seems like our mayor knows everything. I've never seen a question that not only can he not answer, but go into the details pages in, which is one of our mayor's greatest strengths, communication, which is an integral part of what's going to grow our city. I'm very glad to hear about the different funding sources that maybe some of these development things may create. That's very exciting. That's exactly what we need to be doing. That means we're doing right now what we should be doing and what we need to be doing. There are a lot of cities that maybe could be doing things that we're doing right now that would help not just today but tomorrow. So to me, I'm excited because that means the city of Portage, the future is bright. And as a resident, that's exciting to me. I don't know who else it's exciting to, but it's exciting to me. Another thought, and Providence at Farmington, we are one of the few cities in the world that has Lake Michigan lakefront, especially next to the big great Chicago, which thankfully our mayor traveled to and from safely today. We are one, so I'm not knowledgeable on the docking or the fishing industry. I don't know if there's a big billion-dollar fishing pole company. But speaking of, sponsorships, the idea there's got to be a lot of value for some company somewhere to attach their brand and their name to our dock. And it could be, named after them, even internationally. So, Mayor, I will take your lead and, keep my comments for this short. My addition is, the thought of even internationally, what's the value to a country like Japan, South Korea, the Dominican Republic to attach their brand next to the city of Chicago? The city of Chicago is currency, the name. It's one of the biggest and most well-known cities in the world, and we are, to the rest of the world, we're right at the city of Chicago. It doesn't get closer. I think there is a lot of value to continue the explorations, Mayor, that you've talked about, and continue what we're doing here today. I appreciate our board being here today, calling special meetings and having discussions for things that can bring, not only make our city better, but bring revenue to our city, which we need. Because I was listening to that. I'll wrap up with this. And I mean, just the thought that police officers have to actually think about plans of, a car might break down. I want my officers highly trained and out there doing what they're doing, not having to think about things like that. That was something that stood out to me as I was watching the city council meeting, and that's why I'm appreciative, and my recommendation is to approve the measures we're discussing today. In 8.1, specifically, we've talked about Sandy Trails and Providence at Farmington. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else here to speak about Farmington? Hearing none, I'll close the public comments on Farmington. And I'll say, just again, thank you so much. And again, you're always welcome to come and speak. I know that when we have like a bigger public meeting, like if we have like 25 people here to speak, I always tell people everyone is allowed to speak what they need to say. But I always encourage people, here's the way I would say it. Let's say there were 25 people here today to speak. I always try to say if someone goes up to speak and they kind of say exactly like what you were thinking, it's okay to say I agree like with that person, But again, everyone is welcome to exercise their rights when they're here at a public meeting, so thank you. So that gets us to Bauer Farm. Is it Bauer Farms? I guess it's Farms. Single?
Bauer Farm.
Okay, then I will open up. Is there anyone here to speak on Bauer Farm? Is there anyone here to speak on Bauer Farm? Just understand, I always ask 3 times to make sure it's documented that we, And is there anyone here to speak on Bauer Farm? Hearing none, I'll close for Bauer Farm. And then that'll get us to Swanson Trails. Did I do something wrong, Dan? Oh, okay.
You're doing fine.
You gave me not a look, just kind of like, I hope I didn't do something. Okay.
That was my thinking look.
The thinking look, I gotcha. Where did that S come from? Yeah.
Don't think too hard.
Okay. That gets us to, I think I just heard Z laughing at the back. That gets us to Swanson Trails. I'll begin. Is there anyone here to speak on Swanson Trails? Is there anyone here to speak on Swanson Trails? Is there anyone here to speak on Swanson Trails? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing for Swanson Trails. And then that gets us to River Trace. I'll open it first. Is there anyone here to speak on River Trace? Hey.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My new thought that I want to share with you, I believe one of these petroleum companies is based out of Indiana or in Indianapolis. Is it BP? Is it? I'm not sure. I could be mistaken. But, my thing is, if I operate BP, if I'm the CEO of BP, and I do a $500,000 deal with the city of Portage, we're going to take care of your gas up to $500,000 for police cars. I don't know the number that is used and how much that covers, but if I'm the CEO of BP, what value for my company that I can share with the world how we support local law enforcement? And that sponsorship, the value that it's going to spread, it's going to more than pay for itself. So that was the new piece of information, because the thought of not having a police car, or the thought of having to consider not having a police car go to River Trace because we're down a car and we don't have the money to fix it or the capacity to fix it until December 18th. So, we don't want, as the public, that thought to have to be something when we think about how our law enforcement dispatches personnel specifically to River Trace in that area. That's my new thought. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen of the board, for your service to the public.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else to speak on River Trace? Hearing none, I'll close the public discussion on River Trace. And we'll move over to 8.2, Mr. Bowditch, discussion on the residential development programs.
So under 8.2, you've been provided with confirming resolutions, just as a precursor to the purpose of the confirmatory resolution. The statute is clear. I am not the attorney. The commission's attorney sits here. The statute's clear that the declaring resolution sets the allocation provisions, the approvals, the declarations of an economic development area, economic development plan, the residential housing development programs, and the allocation provisions themselves. The confirming resolution by purpose is to finalize the approval process from the aspect of documenting that there was a declaratory resolution for each, that each was then sent to the Plan Commission for their approval in compliance with the comprehensive plan, which it was. The Plan Commission then sent their written order and recommendation by resolution to the City Council, which occurred, and the City Council took action as the body, legislative body, on the Plan Commission's action, which occurred. At that point, that triggered the notice of publication in the paper for this evening's meeting. It triggered the notice and the tax statements to be issued to the overlapping taxing units, the county, Portage Township, to the city, to the library, to the school system, and to the Porter County Airport Authority as overlapping taxing units. In addition, it triggered the notice to planning entities of the city. So before you, the provision of holding public hearings on each of the residential housing development programs. So the confirmatory resolution documents that and says, we now confirm that we've concluded all the necessary approvals and we agree that the declaratory resolution is confirmed as consistent with the statute. So it would be my recommendation, based upon support, having heard no remonstrance against, and we appreciate the comments from the public. That's why we have the public hearings. But to consider the confirmatory resolutions for each of the residential housing development programs, Sandy Trail, Providence at Farmington, Bauer Farm, Swanson Trails, and River Trace.
I think my only question, Dan, or as I understand it, if today, if passed, it starts the declaratory, so these would
Yes.
expire on November 6, 2045?
20 years from today.
Got it. Just kind of fun to always think about a
Which is a
date.
little bit different than a traditional allocation provision, which is up to 25 years from the first date of obligation.
Just put it in my calendar with like an alarm for like,
Mayor, it'll get here before you know it. I've done these before, and they've already terminated, and I'm thinking I'm getting old. I thought I'd never be around for them, so it'll be here before you know it.
just did the math. I'm very much hoping to be here. So, yeah,
I might.
you will.
I hope so.
So with Sandy Trails, does anyone have any questions or a motion in regards to Sandy Trails?
What are the resolution numbers and the declaratory resolution numbers for each one? It starts with 2025 and it does a dash. Which one does it start with?
Bear with me. The confirming resolution is 13. Let me bring those
For
up
River
for you.
Trace.
Let me bring those up for you. I do have, bear with me here. Bear with me here, public. I did have a schedule of all the resolutions.
Sandy Trail is 2025-15.
But we need the declaratory resolution to number. Which one are we doing first?
River Trace.
Well,
Okay.
so in order, it's, so if we're particularly invested in the order in the agenda, and I'm not saying we are, it'd be Sandy Trails first. I guess as long as we have all 5 numbers, we could pass them and not necessarily know which one is which, but that assumes that we're all for all 5 of them.
We need the number. So is the re- so River Trace is 2025-0
You're doing River Trace first?
with the numbers. Bower is 09.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy Trail is 10. And this, again, is declaratory resolution numbers. Providence is 11. And Swanson Trails is 12.
So you can see them on the screen if you don't. And then at the bottom of the sheet, you'll find the confirming resolution numbers. I do not have the agenda up, which is the first one on the agenda. Sandy Trails, the declaratory would be, yes.
Right?
Sandy Trails would be declaratory 2025-10, confirming resolution would be 25-15. So if you can do that one first, and then we'll go on to the next
So I'd
one.
like to make a motion to approve the redevelopment commission resolution number 2025 dash, what's River Trace again?
10.
2025-10 as a resolution confirming declaratory resolution number 2025-08 as it relates to the River Trace residential housing development area.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it passed. So that was River Trace that we just passed? Okay.
So then the Bauer Farms, the commission resolution would be the -14, correct?
Bauer Farms would be confirming resolution 25-14.
And then
Declaratory
09.
resolution is 2025-09.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the confirming resolution for River Trace that you just did?
-13.
I just heard something different, I'm sorry.
Was that correct?
Yes,
All right, thank you.
the first one's fine.
Yeah. So I would like to make a motion to approve redevelopment commission resolution number 25-14 as a resolution confirming declaratory resolution number 2025-09 as it relates to the Bauer Farms residential housing development area.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, I believe it passed.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the redevelopment commission resolution number 25-15 as a resolution confirming declaratory resolution number 2025-09 as it relates to the Bauer Farms residential housing development area. Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, I believe it passed. I'd like to make a motion to approve the redevelopment commission resolution number 25-15 as a resolution confirming declaratory Resolution number 2025-10, as it relates to the Sandy Trail Residential Housing Development Area.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passed.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Redevelopment Commission Resolution number 25-16 as a resolution confirming declaratory resolution number 2025-11 as it relates to the Providence at Farmington Residential Housing Development Area.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, I believe it passed.
I would like to make a motion to approve the Redevelopment Commission Resolution number 25-17 as a resolution confirming declaratory resolution number 2025-12 as it relates to the Swanson Trails Residential Housing Development Area.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it passed. I just want to state, I don't know everything, but I think that Mr. Bowditch does. But maybe the better way to say it is I surround myself with really good people like Attorney McClure, Mr. Bowditch, Tom Cherry, got Bill in the back, John Hannon there, and then, of course, everybody here on this commission. Thank you guys for being here tonight.
Before you adjourn, Mayor, thank you very much to the commission members. What we'll be doing next is I've been contacted by each of the sub-residential housing development program developers. They were anxious for this evening's action. Now that it's been approved, we will reach out to them to put together the economic development agreements for each one of the projects, which will outline the use of the tax increment pledge to the projects and the payments of the tax increment revenue impact or imposed fees, whichever way you choose to use. Mayor typically uses imposed fee, but we'll go with that.
Impact is okay, too. I mean,
Yeah.
imposed just sounds very
We'll
tough.
define it formally in the economic development agreement. Once that is done, we'll also get bond counsel and the municipal financial advisor ready for the obligations. It is my understanding that each one of the developers has already secured a financial institution and a funding source, whether it's their own liquidity or whether it is through a financial institution for which they receive a construction loan. So we're moving forward. The intent is to have this done by the end of the year.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome.
This has been a huge undertaking, Dan, and I can't stress you've added another new invention to your portfolio of things. Again, it's
Yes.
always fun when I ask Dan if he's familiar with something, and he's the guy who either named it or created it.
No,
And
I
in
try.
this- Anything else from the board, or is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.